All right, so now we're gonna learn how to recycle clay. So once people throw and all of the slop in the bucket, we empty the water into the sink, and then the slop goes into the blue bucket here. When this gets full, we pull this out, and you can wear gloves if you want, definitely wear an apron. We pull it out from here and it goes up onto the plaster slab. The plaster pulls out some of the moisture, and once that moisture is pulled out, now the clay is flippable. And we use these palette knives and scrapers, and we flip the clay over and break it up into softball sized chunks. When it's all broken up into softball sized chunks, now it's time to put it into the Pug Mill. So I'm gonna clean my sponge. And if you are slightly vertically challenged like myself, there's a stool underneath. So the dials on the back here, there's forward, stop, and reverse. And then there's also a compressor. So the first thing we're gonna do is turn this on to reverse. And I want you to take note that I do everything with a sponge because it's important to keep this all clean. All the clay is gonna get crusty, and that's not what we need. So we're gonna turn this on to reverse and then lift up the handle. On the inside, you'll see that there's a big metal auger, and it mixes all of the clay. So this is called a hopper right here, and this is where we put the clay in, but you need to clean it off. So using one of the small scrapers, we're gonna clean underneath because we need to have a good seal. The goal of the Pug Mill is to mix the clay and also to de-air the clay. And if we don't have a good seal, we will never truly de-air the clay. This is the step that a lot of students forget about, and this is really important. It's not a difficult handle to pull down if you've cleaned all of the clay off. The other spot to clean is in the front. So now that it's all clean, I'm gonna pull this down, and I can grab chunks of clay and put it in. Once this becomes full enough that it starts to turn itself off, then we can start working with the compressor. So now if I let go, it automatically shuts itself off. So it's ready for us to seal. Before I turn it back on again, this right here is where we're getting all of the suction. So if it's covered with clay, again, you're not gonna get a good seal. So you wanna clean this area out, but the motor has to be off when this is happening. So now I'm gonna put this one away. I'm gonna clean these edges and put this back on. So now I'm gonna seal this, latch it, turn on the compressor. Once the compressor is on, I wiggle around this glass until it starts to gain pressure. And you can see how now it's gaining pressure. So now everything is sealed. Once the pressure has gained, we're gonna leave the compressor on, and now we take this dial and we turn it to forward. No need to pull the cap off. We just need to take the lid off of the bucket. And the clay will move itself through here and push the cap off for you. less than 2 pounds, but having smaller pieces is much better than pieces that are too large. We're just gonna fill it into here. Now that this is all pressurized, we can open the lid, keep everything the same on the dials, and then you can just go ahead and start adding more clay. And with your sponge, pull down on the handle, and it'll keep coming out until you finish with all the clay. When you are done, make sure you turn this to stop, compressor goes to off, lid goes on, everything gets sponged off, lid onto the clay, and stool away.